Autumn holds a secret most people overlook. What if the trash in your home could become the magic in your garden? Today, we'll unlock 30+ whimsical fairy garden creations born from recycling the simplest things around you, turning waste into wonder. Welcome to Arkan Aesthetic Studio, where imagination meets creativity. In this video, we'll explore magical upcycling ideas that transform everyday trash into fairy-inspired garden treasures for fall. You'll find timestamps in the description, so feel free to skip to what inspires you most. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't just watch. Create your own version with what you already have, and let your creativity bloom. Maybe to you, I'm just another face on a screen. But behind this channel, there's a real story and a real family. Every like, every comment, every subscribe, it keeps a dream alive. When you click subscribe, you're not just supporting a channel, you're giving hope and helping this little dream grow. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. One, plastic bottle fairy lanterns. In the quiet embrace of autumn evenings, when the crisp air carries the scent of fallen leaves, even the humblest plastic bottle can bloom into a vessel of magic. Imagine cutting away the sharp edges of yesterday's soda bottle, softening them with paint in warm amber, pumpkin orange, or twilight purple. With a sprinkle of glitter and a tiny lead candle inside, this once-forgotten plastic transforms into a lantern glowing like a fairy's secret. Scatter them among your garden beds or line them up along a stone path, and suddenly your backyard feels like an enchanted festival of lights. Their imperfect shapes only add to the charm, little fireflies captured inside recycled treasure. Each flicker seems to whisper stories of cozy nights, of whimsical creatures hiding just out of sight, waiting for you to believe again. These lanterns are not just decoration. They're memory keepers, recycling yesterday's waste into tomorrow's wonder, inviting friends and family to wander through a magical garden glowing with imagination. Two, tin can pumpkin planters. A simple tin can, once filled with coffee or soup, holds the perfect promise of autumn charm. Imagine painting its surface in rustic shades of burnt orange, cinnamon brown, or deep harvest red, then etching little ridges to mimic the plump curves of a pumpkin. With soil inside and a trailing vine spilling over, the can suddenly feels alive, an upcycled pumpkin planter glowing with whimsy. Place a few together at your front steps or scatter them through your garden corners, and the whole space whispers with cozy fall magic. Their recycled charm is undeniable. What was once destined for the trash has blossomed into a seasonal treasure. Visitors will pause, smile, and wonder if tiny fairies tend the vines when no one is looking. Each tin can planter becomes not just a container, but a piece of autumn storytelling, bridging the warmth of the harvest season with the beauty of creative recycling. Three, glass jar potion bottles. Harry Potter inspired. As twilight falls on an autumn evening, glass jars, once holding pickles or jam, become vessels of wizardly imagination. Paint their lids in deep metallic hues of bronze or gold. Label them with names like Elixir of Autumn Twilight or Pumpkin Spice Potion, and fill them with colored water, glitter, or dried herbs. Nestled among fallen leaves or glowing by a candle, they whisper of Hogwarts hidden in your very backyard. Children and guests alike will feel the thrill of stumbling upon a secret potion shelf, guarded by invisible hands. These jars may be humble, yet their transformation carries a spark of wonder, an invitation to believe in magic again. They recycle the mundane into mysterious, turning every glass jar into a spellbound artifact. When the lantern light flickers across their surfaces, it feels as if the garden itself is casting enchantments under the harvest moon. Four, Bottle Cap Mosaic Fairy Path. What could be more ordinary than a pile of bottle caps? Yet when scattered beneath autumn trees, they hold the power to become a fairy's stepping stones. Painted in jewel tones, emerald green, ruby red, sapphire blue, and set into a simple path of soil or concrete, the caps shimmer like hidden treasure uncovered after rain. The effect is enchanting, a mosaic trail that winds between pumpkins and garden beds, guiding tiny feet towards secret corners. At dusk, when lanterns glow and fallen leaves crunch softly underfoot, the bottle cap path feels alive with story. It is not just a walkway, it is a ribbon of color leading into imagination, proof that trash can sparkle as much as jewels when given the chance. This little project carries whispers of playful magic, delighting visitors both young and old, inviting them to wander deeper into the fairy tale of your garden. Five, Plastic Spoon Autumn Mushrooms. Plastic spoons, often overlooked and tossed away after a meal, can grow into something wonderfully whimsical in the garden. Imagine their curved shapes painted in creamy ivory or spotted scarlet, then planted upright into the soil to resemble clusters of magical mushrooms. Nestled among fallen leaves, they look like they've sprouted overnight from fairy magic, each one glowing softly with the season's charm. In the golden light of an autumn afternoon, these spoon mushrooms become playful surprises for children wandering the yard, sparking stories of hidden woodland folk. They remind us that even the simplest waste can bring laughter and wonder when reimagined with care. Instead of cluttering the earth, they bloom with character, turning plastic trash into a harvest of fantasy. Each cluster feels like an invitation to pause, smile, and let your imagination wander into realms where fairies hide beneath mushrooms in the glow of fall. Six, Cardboard Box Hobbit Fairy House. In the golden hush of autumn, even a cardboard box can be reborn as a doorway into another world. With curved edges, painted windows, and a mossy roof, the humble box transforms into a miniature hobbit fairy house. Its surface, brushed with earthy browns and ivy greens, captures the warmth of cozy burrows tucked into hilltops. A tiny round door, painted in harvest red, becomes an invitation to a secret life beneath the garden. When placed under shrubs or nestled against pumpkins, this cardboard house feels as though it belongs to woodland folk preparing for the long winter. Visitors will find themselves smiling at the simplicity and charm, ordinary packaging turned into whimsical architecture. It is a home not just for fairies, but for the imagination itself. In recycling cardboard, we create stories, proving that what once held groceries can now hold magic, carrying autumn's spirit into the smallest corners of the garden. Seven, Egg Carton Owl Family Decor. Under the amber glow of autumn, egg cartons, fragile and ordinary, become a family of wise little owls. Each hollow cup, painted in earthy shades of chestnut and ochre, grows a pair of wide, curious eyes made from painted bottle caps or buttons. Perched on a branch or balanced upon a rustic fence post, the owls appear to be watching over the garden, guardians of the harvest season. Their faces, slightly imperfect, bring an irresistible cuteness that makes guests stop, smile, and lean closer. Children might whisper to them, convinced they are enchanted, while adults marvel at the simple cleverness of the design. From what was once destined for the trash, an owl family now brings warmth and imagination into the garden. In every glance, they remind us of autumn's wisdom, to reuse, to cherish, and to find wonder in simplicity. Eight, Milk Carton Mini Haunted Castle. As Halloween approaches in autumn's embrace, milk cartons, square and plain, become enchanting haunted castles. Cut out windows in crooked shapes, paint the walls in charcoal gray, and crown them with jagged cardboard towers. When a candle or lead flickers inside, the silhouette comes alive against the night. Bats could swoop past, and ghosts could peek from the turrets. These little castles look whimsical, not frightening, charming visitors with playful spookiness. Place them along a pathway or in a garden corner, and the space transforms into a storybook scene where witches might brew potions and fairies whisper spells. The recycled charm adds even more meaning. What once held milk at breakfast now glows with midnight magic. Each carton-turned castle feels like a portal to imagination, blending autumn coziness with whimsical mystery. It's a decoration that delights, proving that trash can be the gateway to wonder. Nine, Broken mugs as whimsical planters. A cracked mug, once forgotten at the back of the cupboard, finds new life when filled with soil and seasonal blooms. Its fractured edges tell a story, and when painted with soft pastel hues or autumnal patterns of leaves and pumpkins, it becomes more than just a container, it is a piece of garden art. Imagine rows of these mugs tucked into garden beds or perched on old wooden shelves, each cradling tiny flowers, herbs, or moss. They bring a sense of cozy imperfection, the charm of something mended rather than discarded. Children will imagine fairies sipping tea from them by moonlight, while adults appreciate the rustic, whimsical character. The broken mug planter is a gentle reminder. beauty does not require perfection. In autumn's golden season, recycling becomes storytelling, and even a chipped cup can bloom with new life. (10) Ceramic Tile Autumn Mosaic Walkway. Scattered shards of broken ceramic tiles, once sharp reminders of accidents, can be transformed into a walkway shimmering with autumnal art. Imagine arranging fragments in patterns of golden leaves, pumpkins, or twinkling stars, set carefully into a path of soil or cement. As the sunlight glints off each piece, the walkway feels like a secret mosaic leading into a magical garden. Children will follow it eagerly, believing it leads to hidden fairy homes, while adults admire the colorful creativity born from what would otherwise be waste. In autumn, when leaves fall and crunch underfoot, this path becomes alive with texture and story. Every broken tile adds character, a patchwork of beauty stitched together by imagination. Trash, once jagged and forgotten, becomes treasure underfoot, carrying visitors into a world of whimsy with every step. (11) Twig and branch fairy arches. In the heart of autumn, when branches fall gently from the trees, their twisted forms hold the secret to a fairy's doorway. Gathered twigs, tied softly with twine, bend into arches that frame a pathway or garden corner. Painted with hints of gold or dusted with glitter, they glisten in the afternoon sun like portals into another world. Imagine walking beneath one and feeling the hush of magic, as though fairies might flutter just ahead, beckoning you deeper into their hidden realm. These arches, humble in their making, carry an elegance rooted in nature itself, raw, imperfect, yet beautiful. Visitors see not just sticks, but sculpted gateways to imagination. Children will duck under them, certain they lead to adventures, while adults linger, charmed by their rustic simplicity. By recycling fallen twigs into fairy arches, the garden becomes a cathedral of whimsy, a place where even discarded branches rise again as guardians of autumn wonder. (12) Painted dry leaves wall art. Autumn leaves, crisp and fragile, often drift quietly to the ground, their colors fading into memory. Yet, with a brush of imagination, they become canvases for magic. Picture dry leaves painted in shimmering metallics, copper, gold, and silver, or decorated with whimsical patterns of stars, moons, and fairy runes. Strung together like garlands or framed within old picture frames, they form delicate wall art that whispers of autumn's fleeting beauty. Hung along a fence, draped across a garden wall, or woven into a patio corner, they dance lightly in the breeze, shimmering like enchanted talismans. Children may see them as fairy messages, while adults admire the ephemeral artistry. In transforming what would crumble to dust into art, we learn that even the most fragile moments can be preserved in beauty. The leaves remind us of autumn's gentle wisdom. Nothing is wasted, everything becomes part of a story. And here, the story is one of wonder, whimsy, and the golden glow of a season in bloom. 13. Pebble and stone fairy stepping stones. Scattered pebbles and small stones, usually overlooked underfoot, can be reborn as pathways into a whimsical world. Imagine arranging smooth stones into circular stepping pads, each one painted with delicate autumn motifs, golden leaves, tiny acorns, or glowing stars. Set in a trail through the grass or weaving between pumpkins, these fairy stepping stones create the illusion of a hidden road walked by tiny folk at night. In daylight, they sparkle with hand-painted colors. At dusk, they feel alive with quiet mystery, as though fairies had just danced across them. Guests will follow the path eagerly, smiling at its charm, while children might tiptoe, convinced the stones hum with magic. By recycling simple stones into playful art, you give the garden a sense of wonder, transforming the mundane into storytelling. Every step upon the path becomes a journey deeper into autumn's enchantment, where imagination and recycling walk hand in hand. "14. Broken clay pots as mini fairy worlds. A broken clay pot, once discarded as useless, can become the cradle of a whole miniature world. Imagine turning its jagged edges into terraces, layering soil, moss, and tiny plants within. Add a pebble path that winds down like a spiral staircase, a few painted mushrooms from recycled spoons, or a tiny door tucked into the soil wall, and suddenly, the pot is no longer broken. It is a fairy's secret garden, alive with story and imagination. Placed on a patio table, nestled between pumpkins, or set in a quiet corner of the yard, these miniature worlds invite visitors to lean closer, to discover details hiding inside. Children may crouch, eyes wide, whispering tales of fairies who live among the moss, while adults marvel at how something broken can bloom into such beauty. It's more than a decoration, it's a symbol of transformation. What once was shattered has become a magical treasure, whispering that autumn itself is a season of renewal and wonder. "15. Old garden hose spiral sculpture. An old, worn-out garden hose, cracked from years of use, can find new life as an enchanting spiral sculpture. Coiled into whimsical shapes, like a towering green spiral, a playful snail shell, or even the trunk of a magical tree, it becomes more than a tool, it becomes art. Painted in earthy tones of moss green, copper, or rustic bronze, the spiral blends seamlessly with autumn's palette. Imagine it nestled in a garden bed, surrounded by fallen leaves and pumpkins, where its curves seem to hum with energy, like a portal for fairies. At dusk, tiny lanterns or fairy lights can be woven through the spirals, giving it a glowing heartbeat that delights both children and adults. Visitors won't see a hose, they'll see movement frozen in time, a playful sculpture alive with character. Recycling transforms the mundane into a whimsical landmark, turning trash into treasure and breathing magic back into the garden. "16. Upcycled Boots flower planters. Worn-out boots, their soles scuffed and leather cracked, hold the perfect story of transformation in autumn's embrace. Instead of being tossed away, they can cradle blossoms and trailing vines, standing proudly as whimsical planters. Picture an old pair of rain boots painted in deep pumpkin orange, or rugged work boots softened with moss creeping over their seams. Filled with mums, daisies, or ivy, they look like tiny enchanted gardens carried on sturdy feet. Placed along a pathway, at the steps of a porch, or hidden among pumpkins, they spark smiles and curiosity. Did a giant fairy leave them behind, or do magical gardeners wear them at night? Their imperfect shape gives them charm, reminding us that beauty is found in resilience. Recycling boots into planters turns wear and tear into character, letting the garden tell stories of journeys past and new growth ahead. In autumn's golden light, every pair feels alive with both history and hope. "17. Denim Jeans Pumpkin Decor." Old denim jeans, faded from years of wear, can bloom into something delightfully unexpected: cozy autumn pumpkins. Imagine cutting and sewing scraps of denim into plump, round shapes, then tying the tops with twine or cinnamon sticks for rustic stems. Some may stay deep blue, others painted in warm autumn hues, orange, mustard, or burgundy, yet all carry the textured charm of fabric worn with love. Arranged together on a porch or nestled among garden flowers, they create a patchwork pumpkin patch, whimsical and heartwarming. Their handmade imperfection whispers of homespun magic, reminding us that fall is not about perfection, but about warmth, creativity, and memory. Children will be drawn to their softness, adults to their clever upcycling. From something destined for the rag bin, denim now carries the spirit of harvest. Each pumpkin is a quiet celebration of recycling, ordinary fabric reborn as a treasure of autumn storytelling. "18. Rustic worn-out basket fairy nests." A frayed basket, once carrying fruit or folded blankets, can become the soft cradle of fairy dreams. Its broken weave and worn edges whisper of age, but in autumn's light, they hold a new charm. Imagine filling the basket with moss, dried leaves, and tiny flowers, arranging them as if woodland creatures or fairies had built their nests there. A small twig ladder can lean against its rim, while pebbles form a miniature hearth at the center. Placed under a tree, on a garden bench, or by a pumpkin patch, the basket transforms into a rustic fairy nest, an enchanting vignette that feels discovered rather than crafted. Guests may stop, convinced that tiny hands wove the setting in secret. Children will lean in close, looking for the inhabitants, while adults feel a nostalgic warmth for simpler times. Recycling the basket into this little sanctuary tells a gentle story. Even when worn and weary, beauty can still grow, and magic still lingers in the most humble corners. "19. Old toys into magical creatures." Old toys, once cherished but now forgotten in dusty corners, can be reborn as whimsical guardians of the autumn garden. A broken doll can sprout wings made from painted leaves, while a toy car might carry tiny pumpkins in its back, transformed into a harvest wagon. Even a worn teddy bear, patched and weathered, can be seated on a mossy rock, crowned with a paper leaf hat, like a woodland king. These upcycled toys become magical creatures, each one carrying a story, each one inviting the imagination to play again. Placed beneath shrubs, tucked into baskets, or perched near lanterns, they add surprise and delight to every garden walk. Children may whisper to them, imagining secret adventures, while adults smile at the charming nostalgia. Recycling toys into enchanted companions turns clutter into wonder, proving that even the most ordinary objects can find new life as characters in autumn's fairy tale. "20. Picture frame mini garden windows." An unused picture frame, once hanging proudly on a wall, can find new life as a window into whimsy. With a little paint in rustic whites, golden tones, or mossy greens, the frame transforms into a magical garden window. Imagine placing it upright among flower beds, where it seems to open into another world, or hanging it on a garden fence, framing ivy and blossoms as if they were living paintings. Add tiny shutters made from cardboard or twigs, and the illusion deepens, a fairy's window into their hidden home. In the soft light of autumn, the frames glow with charm, blending nostalgia with enchantment. Children may peer through, imagining fairies waving back, while adults feel the warmth of creativity transforming something forgotten into art. Recycling a frame in this way turns emptiness into possibility, inviting everyone to see the garden not just as it is, but as it could be through eyes of wonder. "21. Sparkling CD Autumn Garden Mobiles." Old CDs, once carriers of music and memories, now shimmer as magical mobiles in the autumn garden. Hung from branches with twine, their reflective surfaces catch the golden sunlight and scatter it across leaves, flowers, and pathways. Imagine painting their edges with autumn motifs, pumpkins, acorns, or stars, while leaving the center to gleam like captured fairy light. As the breeze sways them gently, the garden feels alive, as though enchanted mirrors are signaling secret messages between the trees. Children may chase the shifting lights, laughing as if fairies are playing hide and seek, while adults admire the shimmering beauty born from forgotten technology. At dusk, the CDs continue to glow, reflecting lantern light like tiny moons. What was once outdated and discarded becomes a source of wonder, turning trash into treasure. These mobiles remind us that even the simplest scraps can dance with magic when set free in the rhythm of the autumn wind. "22. Light bulb hanging fairy terrariums." Used light bulbs, fragile and forgotten, can glow again, not with electricity, but with the quiet spark of imagination. Hollowed carefully and filled with moss, pebbles, and tiny twigs, they become miniature terrariums that look as though fairies might sleep inside. Hung from tree branches with twine or displayed in clusters along a porch, they glimmer in the autumn sunlight like suspended drops of glass magic. Add a sprinkle of glitter or a painted golden rim, and the bulbs transform into enchanted capsules of nature, floating between reality and dream. In the golden hush of evening, when lanterns glow and leaves rustle, these fairy terrariums whisper stories of secret lives tucked within. Children may point eagerly, searching for tiny wings inside, while adults admire the delicate artistry of recycling. Once destined for the trash, these light bulbs now cradle tiny worlds, glowing not with wires but with the timeless beauty of imagination. (23) Styrofoam painted mushroom houses. Styrofoam packaging, usually tossed aside after protecting fragile goods, can find a second life as the foundation of whimsical mushroom houses. Carved into rounded shapes and painted in bright autumn shades, scarlet red with white spots, golden orange, or mossy green, they suddenly resemble enchanted dwellings where fairies or hobbits might live. Add tiny windows, little twig chimneys, or moss-covered roofs, and the illusion deepens. A miniature village sprouting straight from the soil. Placed at the base of trees, tucked into flower beds, or nestled among pumpkins, these mushroom houses bring the playful spirit of autumn alive. Children will crouch down to peek inside, sure that magical creatures are home, while adults admire the clever reuse of something so ordinary. What was once lifeless packaging now feels brimming with character and charm. These mushroom houses remind us that even the most forgettable trash can bloom into delightful treasure, carrying the joy of storytelling through every detail. (24) Foil-wrapped fairy stones. Crumpled pieces of aluminum foil, often discarded after a meal, can shimmer like hidden treasure when given a second chance. Shaped around smooth stones and pressed gently to hold their form, the foil takes on a magical sheen, silver, glowing as if kissed by moonlight. Imagine scattering these foil-wrapped stones along a garden path, arranging them in clusters at the base of pumpkins, or using them to line a fairy house doorway. In daylight, they sparkle like jewels uncovered from the earth. At dusk, they catch the glow of lanterns, reflecting tiny stars across the garden. Children may imagine them as fairy gold, guarded by woodland creatures, while adults admire their simple, ethereal charm. Trash becomes treasure, shining quietly in the soft autumn air. These little stones remind us that beauty often hides in the simplest materials, waiting only for imagination to polish it into magic. (25) Wire hanger miniature fairy gates. An old wire hanger, bent out of shape and forgotten in the back of a closet, can be reborn as the frame of a fairy gate. Twisted into arches and swirls, then painted in rustic bronze or mossy green, the wire takes on the look of delicate ironwork, like something guarding the entrance to a secret realm. Add accents of tiny beads, acorns, or autumn leaves, and the gate feels alive, an enchanted doorway inviting imagination. Placed at the edge of a garden path, leaning against a tree trunk, or framing the entrance to a flower bed, these miniature gates give the garden a sense of mystery and charm. Children might whisper to them, hoping fairies will step through, while adults pause to admire the creativity of turning a hanger into something so whimsical. Recycling transforms the plain into poetic, proving that even the humblest object can become a threshold into wonder when seen through autumn's golden light. "26. Harry Potter Garden Corner, with potion jars and candles." In the hush of an autumn evening, a quiet corner of the garden can be transformed into a place that feels plucked from the wizarding world. Glass jars become potion bottles, labeled with mysterious names like Elixir of Twilight or Mandrake Brew, while flickering candles glow beside them. Old books, stacked on a rustic crate, hint at spellwork left unfinished, and a broom leans casually against the fence as though a witch or wizard might return at any moment. Fallen leaves scatter like parchment across the ground, and pumpkins, carved with runes or left whole, give the space its autumn heart. Visitors will feel the thrill of stepping into a hidden classroom from Hogwarts itself, magical yet comforting, filled with curiosity and warmth. Children will whisper incantations, while adults smile at the playful nostalgia. By recycling simple jars, candles, and everyday items, the garden becomes an enchanted corner where imagination takes flight, weaving Harry Potter magic into autumn's embrace. "27. Hobbit Fairy Home with Cement and Moss." Hidden beneath autumn leaves and shaded by branches, a humble hobbit fairy home can be shaped from nothing more than cement, imagination, and a little moss. Picture a rounded doorway painted in harvest red, tiny windows framed with twigs, and a curved roof softened by creeping moss and ivy. Pebbles create a winding path leading up to the door, while pumpkins and mushrooms cluster at its base, as though preparing for a cozy harvest festival. Though built from strong cement, the house feels alive with warmth, inviting, whimsical, and perfectly at home in the garden. Children will imagine hobbits or fairies bustling about inside, preparing tea or lighting lanterns, while adults admire the clever artistry of turning simple materials into something enchanting. This creation is more than decor. It is a storybook brought to life, nestled in the golden glow of autumn. From raw cement and discarded bits, a treasure rises, strong, whimsical, and forever magical. "28. Recycled Autumn Leaf Garland." Autumn leaves, fragile yet glowing in hues of amber, crimson, and gold, can be given new life as a whimsical garland. Instead of sweeping them away, imagine pressing the best shapes flat, brushing them with a thin coat of paint or glitter, and stringing them together with twine or ribbon. Hung across a porch, draped along a garden fence, or woven into a tree branch, the garland dances gently in the wind, glowing like strands of captured sunlight. Each leaf becomes a jewel in nature's necklace, carrying the fleeting beauty of fall a little longer. Children may see them as fairy charms, strung carefully for good luck, while adults smile at their rustic elegance. What once would crumble unnoticed beneath our feet now floats proudly, part of the season's story. Recycling leaves into a garland reminds us that even the smallest things can shine when celebrated, and in autumn's golden light, every flutter feels like magic. 29. Fairy Garden Pumpkin Patch, reused containers. Old containers, whether tin cans, plastic tubs, or chipped bowls, can be transformed into a whimsical pumpkin patch fit for fairies. Painted in warm harvest tones of orange, gold, and moss green, each container becomes a tiny planter cradling miniature pumpkins, succulents, or autumn flowers. Arranged together in clusters, they form a playful patch that looks as though fairies have been tending their harvest in secret. A few twigs stuck into the soil become rustic fences, while moss softens the edges, creating the illusion of a cozy little farm. Placed on a porch step, tucked into a garden corner, or nestled under a tree, the patch brings charm and curiosity to any space. Children might believe tiny farmers come out at night to gather the pumpkins, while adults smile at the cleverness of turning simple trash into seasonal magic. This pumpkin patch tells a story of recycling with joy, where everyday waste blossoms into treasures of autumn wonder. "30. Trash to Treasure Enchanted Garden Bench." An old, weathered bench, perhaps chipped, rusted, or forgotten in a corner, can be reborn as the centerpiece of a magical autumn garden. With a coat of warm paint in harvest tones, deep burgundy, pumpkin orange, or mossy green, the bench becomes more than a place to sit. It transforms into a throne of whimsy. Adorned with garlands of painted leaves, moss draped along its edges, and tiny fairy lanterns glowing at its feet, the bench feels like an invitation to step into a storybook. Visitors may rest here, surrounded by pumpkins and lantern light, feeling as though they've stumbled into an enchanted woodland clearing. Children might whisper that fairies gather here after dusk, while adults linger, charmed by its rustic beauty. Recycling a tired old seat into this enchanted resting place proves that nothing is ever truly too broken for magic. In the glow of autumn, the bench is no longer forgotten. It becomes the heart of the garden, a treasure reborn. And that brings us to the end of this journey through 30+ whimsical fall fairy garden upcycles. From broken mugs and bottles to mossy Hobbit homes and Harry Potter corners, I hope you found an idea that sparks your imagination. Which one would you try first? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your favorite. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, share it with someone who loves magical gardens, and don't forget to subscribe to keep this dream alive. Until next time, may your garden always be filled with wonder.